Jumping. It's a mechanic in almost every game out there, and it's usually used a lot. Breath of the Wild is a game that can definitely be beaten without jumping, but I wanted to take it a step further. So today, we're going to be speedrunning Breath of the Wild without jumping. First, I want to clarify a few things that might be confusing whether it's a jump or not. Shield jumping is used for a lot of glitches and exploits, so that will cut a lot of tricks out of the run, right? No! You just have to be in the air to start a shield surf. This will complicate a few things, but it's still possible. Lastly, the only thing that counts as a jump is a jump. You have to press X, but that does not mean that if you press X to paraglide or skip a cutscene, that does not count as a jump. Alright, let's take a look at the run. The current fastest route in any percent completes the shrines in the order Bombs, Magnesis, Stasis, and then Cryonis. This is the same route we will follow, but in a fairly different way. As soon as we start the run, we immediately reach our first problem. In traditional any percent, we would just jump into this corner and use the Sheikah scope to clip out of bounds. This skips two major cutscenes and keeps the time locked at 5:15 in the morning, which keeps rain away. However, I was really struggling to find a way to get enough height. There are some broken barrels and boxes you can push around, but no way to get on top it seems. I almost gave up and resorted to watching the cutscenes, but then I found a solution. First, you need to push a box into the corner below the clip spot. Then place a barrel on the ground near it, which allows you to sprint into it, pushing it over, allowing you to walk onto it, onto the box, and onto the clip spot. The next few minutes follow along the normal route pretty well, and then we come to the BLSS, the Bomb Shrine. BLSS, or Bow Lock Smuggle Slide, is a glitch found by Legend of Link that allows you to speed through the air without losing stamina. The setup requires jumping and unequipping your shield. I found a way around this by walking off a ledge and then unequipping the shield. BLSS also requires a pick-upable item, so any percent normally BLSSs with a pot right after getting the bow from Temple of Time. Instead of this, I chose to go for a barrel for the trick, which I'll explain why in a bit. Right now we need to talk about the traditional any percent route. Normally you would raise the tower to unlock all 4 shrines, to get the paraglider, and finish the Great Plateau. If you try to finish the shrines beforehand, the door is sealed and the pedestal is inactive. However, the elevator inside is still usable, so by clipping in, you can visit all 4 shrines without completing the tower. This is accomplished by skew clipping in any percent. When you shield surf onto a slope, the game remembers that angle and snaps back to it for 2 frames and back during the next shield surf. It can also work on the door of the shrine, but it requires an ESC, or doing a frame-perfect shield jump in the middle of the first one. I used a barrel to BLSS, then ran off a ledge to shield surf onto a rock and get skew. Then I can walk up the shrine, onto a barrel, and then ESC into the bomb shrine. Now we complete bombs with a cool ragdoll trick to launch over the blocks. In Magnesis, we can start off with the ledge BLSS over to the bokoblins. After disposing of them, we can now BLSS with the barrel over to the shrine door. To get skew, walking off this ledge, using throw aim to turn around, and shield surfing to get skew seems pretty consistent. Then we use a barrel to walk off of and ESC through the door. After a simple interior of Magnesis, we can finish the second split. And now it's time for controversy! So here's what's up. In a normal any percent, the route starts with a BLSS to the tree and then a wind bomb from the tree up to stasis. The problem is whether X to leap from the tree counts as a jump. I didn't know what to do here, so I left it up to my Discord. The consensus seemed to be that it didn't count as a jump, so that makes it easy for me. BLSS to the wind bomb tree, climb up, and wind bomb to stasis. But here's where things get interesting. There is no easy slope to get skew, no barrel to walk off of an ESC, nothing to clip in. But remember how we clipped out of the Shrine of Resurrection with the scope clip? It turns out with a precise setup, shrines can be clipped into with the scope. Now we're inside the shrine, but we still need to clip back into the elevator. Since we didn't clip directly through the door, by crouching and uncrouching, we can have Link inbounds enough to press A and enter stasis. But wait, why not do this in every shrine? Well, the elevator in stasis is especially low. All the other shrines have the elevator too high to simply uncrouch. Inside stasis is almost exactly the same, and we can finish off the 3rd shrine. Cryonis is the final shrine, and we can start by climbing up to this tree. After knocking it down, we can use the stump to fall off of and set up a BLSS. Then using the same stump, we can BLSS to Cryonis. The clip into the shrine is pretty unique. By walking up the sledge then letting the control stick fall to neutral, Link will immediately fall down and we can shield surf to get skew. The ESC is very lenient compared to the other shrine, and we can clip straight in from the pedestal without a barrel. Now that the last shrine is completed, we can make our way to the Temple of Time and complete the Great Plateau. The castle turns out to be fairly unique. It combines the normal castle route with some strats to avoid jumping. We can start off with the BLSS into the guard's chamber to get the claymore, the boomerang, and some ancient arrows. After cooking the attack up meal, we can travel to the sanctum while getting the royal guard's bow and edge of duality. Instead of the wind bomb, we can substitute it with the BLSS and make it to the boss rush. If you've watched any percent speedruns, you've probably heard of Windblight skip. With a precise setup to shoot an arrow inside Windblight's headshot hitbox during the cutscene of it appearing, the arrow repeatedly damages the boss, defeating it immediately after the cutscene ends. The setup requires a series of side hops and backflips to get into position. Luckily I found a consistent setup with the scope and some parries. The rest of the bosses are pretty interesting. Jump cancels are normally used to cancel attacks and get more damage to each boss. By switching up the patterns of attacks, we can avoid jump cancels and move on from the Blights to Calamity Ganon. The fight gets pretty interesting without any flurry rushes, which have to be substituted with laser parries and ground smash parries. The stun lock doesn't require any jumps, and we can move on to Dark Beast. Dark Beast is no different than normal, and we can complete Breath of the Wild without jumping in 39 minutes and 11 seconds. Thanks for watching! Even though I did all the routing myself, I will still link the speedrunning Discord below as well as my own. They will probably be able to answer any questions you have about the tricks in the run. You can also ask me in my Discord about anything in the run, or Breath of the Wild in general. I will link the full uncut run in the description if you want to check that out as well.